Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this special edition of News in Focus. My name is Faraz Patel. I guess every one of you may have seen the press statement last night from the South African Hajj and Umrah Council, and of course this is the reason why we are having this special edition of News in Focus. SAHUC announced that South Africa will shift to the Direct Hajj Model via the Nusuk platform. So from this year, pilgrims must register online with the country's quota reduced to 1,140. SAHUC says the new system replaces the long-standing waiting list, meaning applications will now be processed on a first-come, first-served basis. Joining me now, I'd like to welcome Moaaz Casoo, who is, of course, the president of the South African Hajj and Umrah Council. Moaaz, always good having you on. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and jazakallah for joining us.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Faraz, and to the listeners of Hilaal TV. I trust you're all doing well today.
Alhamdulillah, we are. Juma Mubarak to you also, Brother Moaaz. Moaaz, let's get, of course, down to it. How have we got here in terms of South Africa now officially being on the Nusuk platform?
Look, there's a lot of finger pointing, a lot of accusations and things that is being put in the public domain. But I think the key thing people need to understand is SAHUC was the Hajj Affairs Office for South Africa. We received a quota allocation. We were given the quota direct to SAHUC. We informed the travel operators to submit business proposals. They didn't accept the proposition. There was a lot of uproar in the public domain, a lot of accusations, a lot of allegations. News broke out. Certain travel operators went to visit the Saudi embassy, raised their concerns. We were about to secure the camps for the South African pilgrims in Mina and Arafat at the time. And they raised their concerns, and they also presented the Nusuk model, or the B2C as you call it, to the ambassador, and they stated, this is what we need for South Africa, this is what we want. The ambassador then referred them to the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah and said, put everything on hold. There's a lot of concerns in South Africa. We need to understand what is going on. We were then called to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We met with the ministry. We explained to them the concerns, the challenges. They wanted a confirmation from the government to revalidate SAHUC. And yes, we received that from the CRL Commission, alhamdulillah. We submitted it to the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. But unfortunately, the noise didn't stop in South Africa. People were requesting Nusuk Hajj. People were challenging the new process of the Hajj rules and regulations from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And the ministry, having an embassy in the country, obviously are hearing this. They're seeing all the information. They're seeing the requests from the pilgrims. They're seeing the requests from the travel operators of wanting Nusuk Hajj. And they've now imposed Nusuk Hajj. And what's more sad is they've reduced the quota for South Africa. And I think that is a big dent for all of us, you know. It came as a shock. And I think that's a major, major dent for South Africa.
I'm going to address the quota being reduced, Moaaz, but I have to address the elephant in the room. You've spoken about allegations. You've spoken about criticism. A lot of it has come from a specific tour operator. I'm not going to mention the name. I can't speak on the others because I've been following it. And, of course, there was an organization also, and there was a statement released by SAHUC saying that, of course, they're not going to be part of the consultation process. I want to get SAHUC's take on this because what we have seen is to and from criticisms occurring, these certain allegations occurring. I know we've been asking SAHUC to come on when, of course, this came about because right of reply has to be executed in this manner. So I want to get your comment on this, Brother Moaaz, with regards to these allegations that have been going around.
I think first and foremost, the biggest allegation or elephant in the room was Adai, the Qurbani accusations with regards to SAHUC taking money and SAHUC receiving commissions. Alhamdulillah, like we've put out in our press release, the previous one, we've got the official contracts of the operators who signed the contracts, who received the commission, and also who received sponsorship for the Qurbani. We've got it in writing, we've got it signed by the operators, but we have not stooped to their level by publishing it. I don't think we should do tit for tat. What has our Prophet ﷺ taught us? Not to go back and put anything out in the public domain. Protect your Muslim brother. And that's what we've done. We have it, we have the information, we've got it in our possession. I think everybody is aware. If they want it, we can share it with them, no problem. It is in our possession. The other thing is, I think people kept on making a lot of allegations and lies, but they could not put factual information on the table. I think that is a big concern. We've kept quiet because we know that if you can't provide proof and evidence, how can one defend it themselves? But we leave it in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a lot of things that have been said over the last few months. We haven't seen any proof or evidence coming forward from anybody that has put all these statements out, but it has caused a lot of damage for South Africa. And I think these are the results of what we're seeing today. People, instead of putting the pilgrims first, we put our own egos first. And now, as a country, we can see the ramifications and the results. And I think people need to own up and man up and take responsibility for what has happened, what has taken place. We should not hide away from the fact of what we've been asking for, what we've been telling in the public domain. People now need to come forward and provide the relevant information, what they've been stating. It's only going to be fair, so the public can be educated and see it. For example, we had an operator meeting. We discussed a lot of things in the operator meeting. It has been taken out of context. Perhaps SAHUC should now share that meeting recording with the public, so the public can hear exactly how events unfolded, what was requested from the operators, what their responses were during the meeting, and then track back to see what has been said in the public domain. And we, alhamdulillah, we have a lot of educated people in South Africa, and I think they can all read through it and they'll be able to make their own decision once they listen to that meeting that took place between SAHUC and the travel operators.
Okay. Brother Moaaz, I know there's a registration fee that obviously there's a waiting period. How SAHUC obviously used to operate. There used to be a registration fee, and of course, you wait for a certain period of time. Those individuals that have paid the fee, what happens now?
So, look, we only received the news last night. As per everybody else received the communication. We will meet as a board. We will meet as general council over the next few weeks. And then we will take out the necessary announcement in the public to advise them on the way forward, what we will be doing with the registration fee and how things will unfold. So please bear with us. This is also news to us, like you've received it. That's been born upon us late last night. And we just need some time to sit with our council and deliberate and discuss on the way forward.
Moaaz, the quota. Okay, I've been, since of course the news broke, and again, we are trying to process this probably 12 hours or 24 hours on from what is occurring. And I know you've got meetings upon meetings that are going to happen. I got told, and again, I don't like to obviously speculate because this is not coming from the official authorities. Some are saying, well, this could increase it to 3,500. SAHUC, and I'd like to believe it to be from SAHUC because as we stand right now, you are best placed to discuss what the quota is. So I'm going to go with the quota that you've mentioned, 1,140. It's quite detrimental because it's a massive decrease from what we saw in the last Hajj. Are we going to be sitting on this quota of 1,140? Can we see an increase happen? Just your take on that.
For us, that information of 1,140 comes from the Saudi embassy letter that has been shared on social media, which was addressed to Delco. We're not sure who leaked that information. It is an official Saudi embassy letter. And they stipulated exactly how they've derived the number of 1,140 in the letter from the Saudi embassy. Whether it will be increased in the future, we make dua. I think we need the quota to be increased. We know the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, as part of their Vision 2030, their plan was to increase the capacity in Mina to 5 million pilgrims. And inshallah, hopefully that will allow an increase in the quota for South Africa and all other countries where they have this huge backlog. But to work on a quota of 1,140, knowing that we have over 50,000 who have registered already, they now need to re-register. And also those who have been on Hajj before can register again. The chances are going to be very slim for first-time pilgrims. But we got to rely and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When the calling comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah, you will be accredited, no matter which system is in place. And when Allah calls you and He wants you to come for Hajj, inshallah, your turn will come. It's just going to be a challenge for South Africa to manage a low quota as 1,140 when we've been accustomed to 2,500 and at times 3,500 or even 4,000, to now go to 114, it's going to be a huge dent to the pilgrims that have been waiting for 7 to 10 years, now to having to reapply and pray and make dua that they get accredited. And I think this new process, you've got to have your money in your digital wallet the moment you get accredited. And if you don't have it, you will be de-accredited. So that is something new for the pilgrims, where they've been accustomed to allowance by the travel operators in SAHUC to pay the money of certain amount of time period. That unfortunately is not going to be available for them on the Nusuk platform.
Moaaz, it's two questions, and I'm going to allow you a time on this. The DA, and I interviewed Hasina Ismail last month, and of course I remember sending you the interview for right of reply, and you told me not at this time. So I'd like to think that this would be the perfect time for it to happen. The DA said that, well, this is a good move because this allows for there to be a sort of monitoring of SAHUCs and what they say monopolizing Hajj travel, number one. Number two, DIRCO, how do they play their role with regards to this? I'm going to give you some time to answer on this, Moaaz.
So with regards to the DA, I think they've not been part of the Hajj industry to my knowledge. And for a political party to come now and then want to intervene in Hajj was surprising to all of us, you know. But nevertheless, when they talk of monopolizing Hajj, I mean, they should clarify what do they mean by monopolizing Hajj. When SAHUC offered travel operators, and over the years people had applied to be a travel operator through SAHUC based on the rules and regulations of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We can only facilitate and manage the process based on what we receive from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We can't make our own rules pertaining to quota, pertaining to minimum requirements from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I think that is something we cannot do. So yeah, I think that's something the DA would need to answer. They would need to respond. With regards to DIRCO and with regards to the CRL Rights Commission, alhamdulillah, we've met with the CRL Rights Commission. We've presented to them. We've met with DIRCO as well. And alhamdulillah, the CRL Rights Commission have given us a letter of recognition. And DIRCO reviewed it, they deliberated, and alhamdulillah, they sent it through to the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. So that is in the possession of the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. That will be late, but alhamdulillah, we've got the recognition letter and that's in place. So yes, at one point there wasn't a current mandate, and we've now secured it, but it's a little too late, I suppose.
Moaaz, there's just two questions I need to get in. Does Hajj become much more expensive now with the Nusuk app? Does it become less, or does it become less expensive with the Nusuk app?
Okay, so what we are hearing, remember South Africa has not ventured down this path.
Sure.
All right, so we can only work on what other countries who have been on Nusuk have told us and advised us, not only us as SAHUC, I think those people who have gone for Hajj in the last 2 to 3 years, they have met pilgrims from countries like the UK, the US, Botswana. They've engaged. They found out for themselves. So to give you an idea, there was a 4-star package for a couple from Botswana in 2024. They paid all-inclusive 64,000 Saudi Arabian riyals for a couple. Times 5, you can see the value. Now, that is the money that is going to be involved. When we spoke to the ministry, when they gave us a presentation on Nusuk Hajj, they advised us it could be 20 to 30,000 rand more expensive than what we traditionally used to pay. Bearing in mind, when you look at Nusuk's package, why are we saying it's going to be more expensive? The minimum is 10 days, the maximum is 21 days. 21 days equates to 3 weeks. If we look at South African pilgrims, a lot of them go for 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks. We could put our packages for the travel operators based on this past Hajj season for 90,000 rand, all inclusive on 6 weeks, 4 to 5-star hotels. Now going forward, you're no longer going to have 6 weeks, 5 weeks, 4 weeks, unless it is agreed and engaged with a Saudi service provider company. But based on Nusuk Hajj platform, you can go onto the website now. If you Google Nusuk Hajj platform, the website will open up. You can view the packages that was there last year, not the pricing, but the packages, and you will see there's 6 different categories from the ministry. and it gives you the duration, and it tells you it will be 3-star, 4-star, or 5-star. When it comes to 3-star or 4-star, they state it will either be a hotel or a building. And not all the time will it be a house close to the haram. There's different pricing category and different buildings or hotels that you may be housed in. So I think all those things will come out in the fourth when the registration opens up, when the accreditation process comes out. People will then start to see what the pricing is for Nusuk Hajj in comparison to what it was for South Africa in the past, based on the durations that we used to go as well. So I think based on what we've heard, it's going to be more expensive, but we'll have to wait and see when the system is open for South Africa and what packages are put forward for the South African public. We don't want to preempt. We can only advise based on what we've been told by countries who have utilized the Nusuk Hajj platform.
Okay, one final question, Moaaz. We just got 2 minutes for you, Moaaz. What is the future for SAHUC and the tour operators? Actually, I've just got 1 minute, Moaaz.
Okay, so at this point in time, we haven't made a decision. We'll meet as a council, we'll meet as a board, we'll deliberate and discuss the pros and cons, and we'll advise the public in the next few weeks or months as to the way forward for SAHUC. So I think it's, I don't want to preempt anything, so let's give it some time. We request for your du'as, and inshallah, that makes it easy for all the pilgrims in South Africa and throughout the world as they venture down this new path of transitioning into the Nusuk Hajj platform. Shukran jazeelan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That's Moaaz Casoo, the president of the South African Hajj and Umrah Council. That's all we have for you for News in Focus. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.